Oh yeah, I turned my phone on like my baby sounds like I'm not gonna lose one.
Yeah. All right, guys. So hey, this is Jamie. You're watching.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, what's up? We got Change Together, which is a series from Bite Me, and I only put it on Bite Me because I already had Bite Me infrastructure set up, so it made sense. So I've got.
Also, I like it. Bite Me, man.
Yeah.
Say it to the man.
Is it
say to the
BYTE
government.
me?
No,
No,
Bite,
that's
because it was a
too
cooking
catchy.
show.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a play on words. So.
You have to send me that phone.
Yeah,
most
we're just
definitely.
having conversations. So for the most part of this show, I'm gonna let Lily and Tim. I
was like, you almost forgot my name.
You know, I know
As
who we
many
invited.
times you see me, like,
I would just call you TMI.
facts,
So,
though,
anyways, so for the most part, I'm gonna run just a God mic, so you guys aren't gonna see me. I'm gonna jump between your guys' angles. I'm opening up the chat room so people can ask you guys anything about what's going on with the community. What do you guys got going on? On that, I'm gonna let you guys just rock it. Tell everybody who you are. We're gonna start with you, Tim, and then what are you guys trying to do?
My name is Tim Joyner. I am the most known unaffiliated.
He's my tattoo guy. My piercers.
Like piercer, writer, and overall human. But I don't know. That's all. Somebody asked me to describe myself before, and I just said I'm a people advocate. So I'm just always around where everybody needs me. Been around here for a while too. Oh,
Really?
UNCW.
How long have you been here?
I graduated from UNCW in 09, and I don't say that a lot because everybody's like, "Well, you went to UNCW?" Yup, got my Bachelor of Arts.
And we some educated people, man.
Yeah, just never put it out there.
We're thugs, excuse me, but we're
Facts.
educated thugs.
I got dreads and whatnot, so
Right?
I don't look like alumni. Even when I go back, they're like, "Wow."
So what's alumni supposed to look like?
Oh, we're
Okay.
being facetious because we went to UNC
Considering
white, so.
that they have like 8% minority, like since 2004,
They're trying to do a little better. Like shout out to the African Upper Mid Center, and they're trying to.
they're trying to do better. They're having a little
They're
problem
trying.
right now, little situations.
Because Professor Mike is a racist. We've known he's a racist. Nobody knows why he's still there. I'm going to continue saying he's a piece of crap. Everyone knows he's a piece
And
of
it's
crap.
also just because UNCW again,
Allows that.
I used to work in admissions, and it's so hard for them to understand this because they have kind of a lack of
Color.
black faculty there. They still have it now,
There's a
but
huge
there's a
discrepancy.
large disconnect. This is why, like, the black students at UNCW
Don't feel comfortable.
We've seen from the demographics, and I take them every night. We've seen a lot of white college students, but not a lot of the black UNCW students. Not a lot of the.
And there's a lot of them there.
There's
a lot of minorities
but
there.
what happens is UNCW encourages that bubble, and I don't know if they encourage that bubble to reach out to the local, because this is, again, we're local.
Mm-hmm.
And UNCW, back when I was there, they used to say locals versus the campus.
Oh,
And,
definitely.
it always has that divide. So, like,
Yeah, once you graduate, you're no longer considered a college student, and if you move away, you definitely you have no ties to Wilmington whatsoever. If you stay and you make a family here or a life here, then you become a local Wilmington person, but
Thank
you
God I
lose your
lived off
affiliation
campus.
with the school. Yeah, and I lived off campus too, so
So
it was a
we were-
huge disconnect. I never had campus life, and people are like, "Oh, you don't really go here," and I was like, but you guys don't have anything to do on campus. I came back all the time to try to do programs and stuff. Like I created the literacy club. Like there was ways I was trying to get involved, and it still wasn't worth coming
Were
back
you
to
there?
campus.
Wait, were you there? Because that was back when I was running back and forth from home going. So you were doing Black Student
I got here in
Union.
2011. I got to UNCW in 2011.
Oh,
left
I was
Carolina
well
in Central.
graduated. Okay, cool.
I started
cool,
at Central, spent a summer at Carolina, and then I came down here just to get out of the element, out of the RDU 919 area. So I transferred.
Okay, so
here.
when you came, I don't know why, but apparently it's just like Wilmington. Wilmington will pick something up and then let it go. Pick something up and let it go. This is why we're where we are now. This is how all of this got together. This was happenstance. This was like
It really was. Like this is a
was-
problem that was picked up. A couple people addressed it and let it go and
and a
let
few
it
of us
go.
decided, all right, so this is what we have our skills in. This is what we know we can do. So let's put it together. It didn't even have to really be said out loud. It just kind of happened. We were like, hey, you good? All right. What do
yeah,
we need to do
basically, like
next?
there was no planning. There was
really
no
was, nah.
prior communication. There was a bunch of fear and apprehension, I want to say, and we just happened to show up at the same protest together.
Honestly, it took awareness of Sunday night, and then people were starting to see, and they put faces with what was going on. A lot of faces started being put. Myself, your face, and there were a few, like, I've seen a lot of pictures because I haven't really been keeping up. We've been so busy. I haven't been keeping up with anything online.
Yeah, I apologize to people who are reaching out to us.
Really sorry.
I was looking at my phone right now before we went live. I've got 15 Facebook messages. You guys, I'm not ignoring you. I swear to God, I'm going to get to you.
We're really
as soon
not
as
trying
I
to
can.
be distant or anything, but it's been so busy going back. Like, your energy is drained. You go home. You try to sleep. You have to wake up. You have to get back to it. You have to plan.
And I have no
messages.
complaints, and I'm going to keep right on doing it.
It's not trying to, we're not trying to be dicks or anything.
Yeah, we just want you guys to understand.
So what I hear is you guys need a social media person.
Nah.
No, because that makes it impersonal. Like, I still want to talk to the people. I still want to answer them, and I want to physically be at as many meetings as I can.
I always want to be accessible.
I
always want to be accessible.
I feel like if you guys have questions, again, and if your patience runs thin, because there's a couple of news people, they're like, oh, I was blowing up your Facebook, I was texting. I was like, I get it, but I've been here, and this isn't any disrespect or anything negative, but if you want to talk to us, we're urging you to come out there, because it's not about us.
No.
We just happen to have the most recognizable face in town, and we just happen to know people who know people. We want you to come and talk to the people who are protesting. Come and talk to the family members. Come and talk to the community members. Come and actually find out what we collectively as a community needs. Thank you for hitting me up, because I know I'm the most direct line. Thank you for hitting up Tim, because we know we're the most direct line. But again, like, if you got deadlines, if you've got questions that are pressing, if you want to see the movement or feel the movement, dude, we've got permits from 7 to 4 today, and then 4 to 9. We got permits from 4 to 9. I want to say for like the next 8 to 10 days. I hate to say it. Dude, I'm furloughed. I have nothing but this on my hands right this second. I'm working this, and I'm working for Wilmington School of the Arts. And dude, the two can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And all I've been doing is going to work and coming here. And also, like, please, like, you see our faces and whatnot, hit us up, talk to us, come down there. It's your youth that are down there. The protests are your youth. Wilmington, that is your youth. Mm-hmm. This is children. I make sure that anytime any of my friends come, they bring their sons, their children, their young children.
I do ask them to bring it during the day.
I do
ask them to bring them during the day.
You need to be seen. You need to see them out there, because also, my parents had me out there when I was younger. If I wasn't out there in this position, I wouldn't be there now. We need people to see that this is...
They need to be having these conversations, and if you don't know how to have those conversations, we do urge you to bring your kids out there during the daytime when it's warm, when they can see everything, when they can feel everything. They can ask the people, like, what's going on. They can ask... There's a lot of parents who weren't set and prepared to answer these questions. I was leaving last night's protest, and there was a younger white lady, a little bit thinner than me, just like she's a very small, petite frame, and she like broke down into tears. She was telling me a story about her little girl who's mixed, and she's got the most beautiful caramel skin, and you know how like you draw your little dolls and you color your friend's circle in? Well, her little girl colored her in of this pale, pale shade of peach. She did not color her white, but she colored her very pale. And her mom was like, asking who her friends are, who's this, and she named her. She's like, oh, that's me. And I was like, well, why didn't you color yourself a little darker? Like, here's a really pretty brown crayon for you.
Why should she have to?
But the little girl said, no, the little girl replied, she said, Mom, if I color my skin darker, they'll be mean to me. And the mom was like, what do you mean? And she's like, if I'm darker than this, people will be mean to me. So I want to make sure that I'm lighter so my little doll gets played with. And that fucking breaks my heart. You don't have to color yourself lighter for the world to be nice to you. And like, this is a child who's not even in school yet, and this is her feelings and her thoughts. She's got to color herself lighter so that the world can be nice to her. That's not okay. That's not what you want to teach your kids.
All right, guys. So let's... There we go. So what if you could change... So obviously you're protesting for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. What if you could only change one of the first things, what is the first major change that you guys would like to put into place?
Probably... Go ahead, Lily, because I feel like we both have... We can't say... I feel like
narrowing it down to one thing would be absolutely horrible. But if we had to...
we have two, we're going to say two different things that are still the biggest problem.
Sure, let's go with it. So let's give each two then.
I would say like a citizen review board where we're able to look over what's going on and have open communication with both departments of law enforcement, but also be able to go into the sheriff's department. One of my main focuses right now, because a lot of the issues that are being brought up is a lot of the brutality from the sheriff's department and the excessive force. I haven't had as open line of communication with them to be able to delve into their background, their histories, and their police for their violence. So I would definitely like the ability to review that and have an open communication with the community. Like there needs to be a check and balance system.
So like a civilian internals affair.
Thank you. That's right.
Okay.
A citizens review board of
Citizens
sorts,
review
like
board where we hold them accountable.
which of course I will say they've been talking about that forever.
Sure.
in
But
Wilmington,
talking about
and
it
they need- and
doesn't
then
do anything.
It's not moving, and this is again while we're out here again. A lot of the issues that we probably are going to say, you've heard before in Wilmington.
Okay.
And this is like we.
So
really,
it's not a new idea.
It's
just
not a new
happening.
idea. It's just not happening. So this
Yeah.
is not something that is a novel idea. We're not bringing something completely.
We're not
new to
reinventing the
table.
wheel. We're just asking
like,
to
this
move
is
it.
just. She said, Citizens Review Board. We need better community liaisons.
Okay.
There has to be better trust between the community and the cops, and not
Sure.
just the community. Historically underrepresented populations and marginalized communities within Wilmington, they have to have better communications and better relations with the police.
Okay.
We have to have more and more. We have to put their presence and their protection in more than just the downtown area. There's a certain area of downtown that once you go, it starts to cut off into gentrified area. We need to put more officers there
Fourth and below.
that are actually a part of the community, that aren't just like, I'm coming into the community.
And that's what I've been asking. I've been asking for actual community policing. And everyone's like, oh, there's programs in play. There's community policing. People get out and walk the neighborhood. And I was like, okay, when? Yeah. And Donnie Williams was like, well, I used to get out there and I used to mandate it in 2017. And, I haven't been as active. And I was like, great, these programs exist. I'm aware these programs exist. I did my research and I looked up online. These programs are there. But the implication, of them not being forcefully upheld is there as well. Like,
You
I
haven't
do
given
not
them a
see-
reason to sit out there and police their own neighborhood. And
Yeah.
also they're afraid. You haven't given them the protection to police their own neighborhood.
No.
They don't have the resources you do, so how can they go and police
All they have are cars that they zip by in the community.
that? And there's a fear of, retribution for speaking out, retribution for policing. They don't
I'm
have
so
these
glad that
resources.
you brought up
And
retribution
they
and
don't have,
speaking out.
we have to be honest, these are the things. You can't say we have a culture of don't snitch, and it comes from a very place of genuine love, and it comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of don't speak on business in mixed company, but it also comes from, well, something might
You don't
happen.
want to air your dirty
You
laundry.
don't want to air, but it also comes from, well, something might happen to me, and if something doesn't happen to me, it happen to my family. If there is no guarantee that there is protection, no one is going to come forth in order to make something happen.
Why should they?
You have to guarantee that they not only will be protected, but also that their community and them will still be, they will still be a part of the community and not be outcasted, not be blacklisted as, oh, there's somebody that's
Exactly. That
community
that cop's not gonna protect me, his fellow cops, because he's more cared about the community.
I work with youth. Mainly the reason I'm out here is because of youth. This is the only reason I came out here was because of the youth. I wanted to have the youth to make sure that they had somebody out there. I know how the youth talk. They even say you're policing me when they talk to other youth. You have to get them to a point where if they're saying you're policing me, there's a problem.
Yeah, if they're
There's
using
a
policing
big
as a negative
disconnect
adjective.
between what we do as a society and what police are seen to do. Like, they are not seen as just, oh, when we were kids, I want to be a police officer. Now people are
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a police officer. My kid better not grow up and be a police officer.
I was talking to one of the officers last night, and I was asking her, do you guys get the opportunity? Do you feel like you get the opportunity to community police? Do you feel like you're encouraged to get out there and walk the neighborhood? Do you feel like, she's like, yeah, I would love to say I do, but I am one of 4 police officers that work in District 4, and District 4 is like from freaking Greenfield Lake to like Dawson's Avenue, like the Oleander side, and then all the way back down to Carolina Beach. Oh, and then she's also got to like get the like tip of downtown. There are 4 officers assigned to that district, and they
That's
get to
why-
community police it. Honey, you need a car just to get Carolina Beach Road to Dawson. Like, that's not a walkable, I mean, it is, but it's not a walkable route that you want to take. And so she was expressing that that's one of those problems. Like you said, people don't want to be officers anymore. The stigma around them, they don't want to be officers. And women, I mean, we all know we're underemployed in the workforce just because, like, it's a male-ruled world. She's like, already, only 10% of officers are women. So then you have no like accountability. You can't put a big old burly male officer into like a domestic violence situation. Like the trust and stuff is not there. So she's already spread thinner than what you would imagine because she happens to be a white police officer. But then on top of that, she's on one of the few trained for like the combat and like the SWAT preparedness or whatever. So anytime protests are happening, which I'm super sorry, Megan, you are a rock star, but she gets pulled away from her little district map that she covers. So for the entire weekend, she won't be like serving District 4. Thankfully, she's gonna be with us. but she's with us from 7 to 9. So, okay, District 4 now is one police officer short. Oh, and guess what? We got vacation time. Okay, he's on vacation for the week, so now they got 2 officers for District 4.
Yeah.
And with a lot of us now, I mean, even, again, I want to state, the institution of the police needs to be restructured.
Oh yeah.
The institution of the police needs to be reformed. I am not one of the biggest fans of the current institution, just like I'm not a big fan of the current institution of education when it comes to certain things.
I think they're both broken.
With all of that said, I definitely feel that community policing also has to be left into the community leaders. This is what the community leaders are supposed to be about. When I got here, I assumed that community leaders were the one that were out saying, okay, you're in this neighborhood, you're in this neighborhood, we're in this neighborhood, you're in this neighborhood. We all meet up. We make sure we taking care of whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we're going to take it to a community tribal level or community village level, if we're looking at the system of trying to help each other communally, I'm thinking that community policing needs to be done by us.
Yes.
And we should be able to hold ourselves accountable. As I said to a lot of people, what about the bad apples in the protest? The bad apples. Here's the thing that a lot of people seem to forget. The bad apples were apples still. Mm-hmm. They're mad. They're mad.
Hurt.
They're hurt.
They're grieving.
And I will not tell someone in good conscience not to be mad. I will not tell someone in good conscience not to be hurt. When you're seeing certain things that we are seeing as a people constantly, when you can wake up and you can type in names and you can see videos, when you know that every day is something new. We're in the middle of a pandemic. None of us thought we were going to be doing this.
Yeah.
None of us thought we were going to be out and about. We thought that when everything reopened, we were going to be in normal.
I was going to go get a drink.
I just wanted to say hey to my friends. I didn't know I was going to be seeing them at protests every night.
I wanted to get a tattoo.
You know, I was really, no one expected in the middle of this that we're going to have to be like, again, here it is.
And that's the crazy thing. I like the fact that you point out a pandemic. Like, the world had shut down because of a pandemic. Like, the COVID-19
it gave us
is
time
a
to
real
watch.
thing. Exactly. It gave us time to watch. So people were literally sitting at home with nothing to do. We watched this man, George Floyd, die at the hands of unnecessary violence. And then we were just like, okay, we collectively got together and we did the angry riots. You know, things started out, and, you know, I was listening to a podcast earlier. We're past that initial rage and anger phase. And now, and I will continue to repeat this, so many people are furloughed. We have nothing but time on our hands. So now we're at the time like, okay, we've had our anger, we've had our moment, we've got your attention.
Don't get us wrong. We're still angry.
We're still angry, but we've gathered our emotions, and so we're like, now we have your attention. Mm-hmm. Now we're using this anger to channel it. We're gonna keep showing up. We're gonna keep showing up. But rather than initially coming out there with that overwhelming emotion, we're slowly getting a grasp on it, and through that we can get organization. Through that we can get some order. But again, we're in it for the long haul. Like,
but we also,
are
again,
here.
this is all still. Some of the things I've seen, a lot of the people that, again, they are the bad apples, but instead of taking them and, you know, we're putting the police on them and I'm gonna jump them like everything, I try to tell people you don't have to point out everyone to me, because we can talk to them. You can take them aside and talk to them. A few nights ago, I had to hold a brother as he cried. We all cried. A lot of us, I know 3 brothers and I, we just get together and we've cried every night after this, because the frustration, there is a frustration from the youth that I'm seeing. I have to hold them and say, it's okay and I understand. And having to see this and having to see them say, I'm tired. I've tried. I'm tired. My friends are looking at me asking, what am I going to do? This is more than just us trying to come and be, at least in my perspective, trying to be a respectable, angry person. This is something that people are trying to come to, that they need to heal. And it's not going to heal until we get more transparency.
Sure.
That's a
more
big
accountability.
Thing.
Until we get more long conversations. Wilmington is based on a complete riot.
Sure.
Wilmington was created from 1898. We haven't healed from that.
On that note, with the transparency and the accountability, I want to stress accountability. There is a lot of unjust things happening in the world that we know, but 2 nights ago, I was opened to some of the horrific events that are happening right here in Wilmington. Yes. The Brandon Smith's family, like, God bless them and
Brandon
everything
Smith,
that they
Brandon
have been
Smith,
going through. And I know there are so many more names, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm like shirking that one, but that one was brought to my attention. And
we have Lennon
and it's
Lacey
like,
also across the bridge in Leland. He
Yeah.
was literally lynched, and they made a documentary about him. And it's actually winning awards now. Shout out to Jackie. It's so many names in Wilmington. Something I want to point out every night, everybody's like, you say this name, say this name. We're not trying to leave names out. As I tell someone, it's a name every day.
Yeah, a name gets added every day.
Every
We just
day.
are saying the ones the loudest that the world might have known. But like we said, bringing it back to our home, our community, the biggest thing that the protesters are asking for, or I would like to think that the protesters are asking for, honestly, is accountability, transparency. Admit you did something wrong. Even if it wasn't you, admit the department, admit the company, admit the organization that you're representing. Admit fault.
Okay.
Across the board. That is literally what their family told me. Brandon Smith's family came to me. They were like, if you can just accept that this happened, own up to it, stop shirking it, stop making it disappear. That is one of the biggest outrages that I think I personally have, is that they have worked with the Black Lives Matter organization. They have tried to write letters to Congress. They have tried to reach out to outside news outlets. And apparently this shit keeps getting snuffed out.
And
just
yesterday, the officer that was allegedly involved in the event received a promotion.
Another
promotion. So that's what the family found out during
the
our
protest. Are you kidding me?
That's why.
That is a huge smack in the face.
That's why she passed.
I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah,
Overwhelming
she had
emotion
an
and
anxiety
exhaustion
attack. Yeah.
from the entire day. She was out there just preaching peace and preaching people to step up and just encouraging. And then to get that jaw-dropping news while you're there encouraging your community members.
And shout out to Mook, Destiny, and all of them. I've been working with them since 2015-16. Destiny, once again, as I said yesterday, I'm going to reiterate it again. We hear you. You are valued. And I want you to know I appreciate you for yesterday, because it takes a lot. It took a lot. And after telling me.
And she came back out.
And she after telling me what happened, came back out and was still present mentally, spiritually.
And still worried about us getting home. Yeah. And I was like, honey, we're worried about you.
Things like that. When that case is still going, and that family has to still relive it every day.
Every day. And seeing, also, shout out to those exact officers patrolling our protest. Why are you even out there?
Yeah. Yo,
morally, you should just sit this one out. Or
you could sit with us. You could honestly sit. And I know a lot. I enjoy I don't enjoy. The pictures are okay with the kneeling, the pictures and whatnot. We need more than pictures. You can't keep putting those up there and getting 300 likes. And see, this is what we're talking about. Y'all are mad for nothing. The police are sitting with you. It's not that we're mad at the police. Period. We're mad at the institution they work for. They do not know that they are a part of a bigger scheme that they don't even know they're part of. So they are just like us. Whenever I see the police officers, I always tell them, you are on the same side as us. You just do not know it. You are working for someone that is using your best interests, and they're saying this is what we're going to have you do.
One of my friends explained that to me, like towing the blue line. If you guys are familiar with towing the red line, he broke it down to towing the blue line. It's very similar. It is a thin blue line that separates police officers from the community. And it's literally, some people symbolize it as literally their badge, but it's just a thin blue line. The system that they work for, the training that they've gone through, the institution that they do represent as a greater whole has taught them and has trained them. And we know, recently, the training has gotten so much more intense and materialized, which is why I have requested that myself and a group of the fellow community members, hopefully a lot of the protest leaders and some of the younger ones that I think are mentally and physically strong enough, I have asked for us to go through the training facility for the sheriff's department and the police department, because if I'm going to openly critique them, I want the opportunity to actually go through it and then be like, okay, well, I still call bullshit. So, before I'm going to get up here and tout, I want to go through it. So I'm urging people to let us go. So far, we've got the police department. They've invited us. The sheriff's department hasn't reached out. So I'll let you know when I get those dates. But towing the thin blue line is representation of that institution has separated the police officers. They forget that they are community members. They forget their moms, dads, daughters, sons, or what have you. And they put the shield on and they feel like this is what I have to do. This is me. This is who I embody. But we have to break down that line. We have to remind them that inside of everything that you have, great, you have your gear, you've got that mentality that they could have hammered it into you and brainwashed you. You are still the community. Sure. You take that shit off, you go home just like we do. You go to the grocery store just like we do. You get dressed and walk to work just like we do. But once they put that clothes on or put that suit on, they forget it. And they said what we're doing and what we're talking about and keeping the communication and de-escalating the violence and maintaining the peace, that is towing that thin blue line. And what we need and what we're urging and what we're asking is for the officers to do the same thing on the other side. Because I can tell that shit all I want, and I can talk and I can preach, and we can get out there and we can encourage communications and we can demand meetings. But until someone on the other side wants to tow it too, yeah, photo ops are great. Oh, you took a knee, it's great. Oh, you're going to walk with it, that's great. But we need you to toe the line on your side as well.
Yeah, that's 1/160th of a second. It's a moment in time.
Exactly.
So my thing is, okay, guys, so we are live, so anybody can ask us any questions. We'll fill all this stuff. So let me ask you guys a question. I'm all about putting systems into place. I'm a bigger picture kind of guy. So we understand that the police as a whole, the system's not working. What would you suggest to fix the system? Because it's one thing to say it's broken, but if we're going to say it's broken, we should offer ideas how to fix it.
Always, you should restructure the complete institution.
But how?
In Wilmington alone, considering that there are so many interest groups and advocacy groups and groups that work with the police on different.
But are those really just 503Cs trying to get money?
Well,
they might be, and
might
that's okay. And that's okay.
I'm speaking on as far as like from the ones I know, as far as like the ones I see at the meetings, the ones I've seen throughout the years, not just. I really can't.
Pop-up.
Yeah, I can't speak on them. I can only speak on the consistent ones.
Sure.
There's so many, in town. I'm thinking, for instance, it's like Mi Gente. There's different groups that, if you have all of those groups that constantly are working with the authorities at different instances, they should be a board put together with officers and every representative from those boards. Yeah. And they should restructure the entire force in Wilmington, or put together a model that they can use, that they can actually go from, and then they actually share with the town, put it online, put it out there. This is what we institute, because a lot of what happens a lot now is there are a lot of meetings and we don't get what happens until somebody posts about it, and then everybody has to tell somebody else what that person posted instead of it being public knowledge. Everyone is not on our Facebooks. Everyone is not on our
Not everyone even uses Facebook. We were talking about this just the
Facebook.
other night. We're in a very interesting age group right now. We grew up with Facebook. We grew up with Twitter. Like we birthed the internet. Like we know that. But like where we're at in our life, and I'd say ours for, again, like loosely speaking on the Wilmington whole, like, we're like the up and coming millennials. But we're a lot of artists. And I say artists in the abstract term. Like we're the people who are going to go create a place for us to exist. And Wilmington is very conducive to that. So a lot of, again, my mutual friends and my business cohorts, we use Facebook maybe for business here and there. Okay, we'll send our grandma some stupid picture. Like we use Twitter just enough to vent and, check in on like the coolest like podcast.
Is there anything you guys need? So I've got one of the old sponsors from my show that's on the thing right now. So she and her husband own a real estate company.
Oh, nice.
Are there any supplies anything that you guys could need I could reach out to her
Well,
for?
right now we are still accepting like water donations and snacks because all of the surplus donations that we have, we're going directly back to the community. One of our organizations that we're working with is Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. We just delivered like 20 boxes of water to them today, and they were like mind blown because, again, these are people in our community who are still suffering from just everyday living in our community. Like there's still poverty. There's still people who are suffering from Florence. There's still houses who haven't been repaired. We're about to fly right into hurricane season. So honest to God, we're accepting all type of donations because if we're not using it, we're giving it to the community. So cloth, diapers, hygiene products.
And something that might come up, we
have a Venmo, we have a cash bond.
Send a big tent so that we can have kind of a cool down station.
Yeah, but like one of the ones that like have the four legs that are easy to pop up, because again, like if shit hits the fan, we're the ones who are breaking things down. And
Coastal Select Properties. Can you guys make that happen, Trisha Ireland?
Yeah, we just.
Trisha, I love you so much. Shout out to Trisha.
Hey, you actually pull up.
Can you like spray paint it black and put like a fist on it? Like we don't want like an all white tent.
No,
that's some real shit.
Yeah, man, we can't. We gotta watch the optics.
You know what? It's actually Pride Month. Can you get us a rainbow tent? Like all minorities are being represented out here, and we're fighting the good fight for literally the greater whole. But yes, there's a lot of
Keep in mind,
companies.
this whole thing is being anchored by.
She's dropping off snacks for you guys today.
I love you so much. Thank
Please,
you.
if you get there, say hello.
Yeah, also, we're trying to shout out out all of our
We
community
don't
members
know,
who are
like,
donating.
hi.
But also, we do want you to say hello because you're representative of the community, Trisha. You were out there with me during Fox's Boxes, like the foot to pavement after Florence. So I know you're vested. You're definitely not one of those white flight people. So
She got me in my truck.
Of course she did. Of course she did. So please, especially, and I hate to stress this, but our white people who are stepping up and donating or raising money or dropping off some mass supplies, like that shit matters a lot. And I think you need to say hi and like introduce yourself. I know people can't stay long, but dear God, hug some of the supporters. Like they need to know that you white people are out here helping us. I know this. I know there are great white people out there, but it's also very hesitant for just this, again, the white savior like gets thrown around a lot, and we're trying to show our community not everyone's a white savior. Yeah, there's a bunch of people in it for the photo op or in it for the 15 minutes of fame, but again, Trisha, I know you. Definitely, we encourage people to come out and speak.
We love you, white allies. Always remember.
Oh hell yeah, we love you, white
always
allies.
Remember,
but we want you, white allies,
to
be there with us.
We definitely. I love your conviction. I love all of your bravado and whatnot. But definitely remember, we didn't want to keep having to do these kind of protests. We wouldn't have to keep doing these protests if your voice was a lot louder. If your voice was a lot louder throughout the year when you're dealing with people you know. Again, stop unfriending people that don't agree with you. Stop, because we can't use this time to educate them. You have to. You have to use your voice. But regardless, please say hey. I know I look mean out there, but y'all come say hey, say what's up. And
she needs to know where to drop the supplies.
Sweet.
Like, we definitely are out there to be accessible, especially the youth. I can't stress this enough. It's not just for the youth. It was organized by the youth.
Yeah, we literally just showed up because, again, like I said, my voice is loud enough. People will listen, and I've got enough energy to keep talking. I'm a stage manager by trade. I will get someone's attention, and if I've got to keep it, I'll keep it, man. I'll just keep right on talking.
I mean, all I'm doing, it's pretty much like being on stage and then yelling.
Yeah, you're kind of like a pro at that.
Yeah, you would think.
That's how
I don't know how my voice is continually managing every night to constantly be able to yell.
Oh, it goes in flux. It goes in flux. Like I will literally have waves. There was one point in time yesterday that I was talking like this. And then we did the march. I want to say it was like the second march, and I was at the tail end. And like their energy was there. They were fist pumping and they had their signs, but like their volume died. And then all of a sudden, like I went back to cheer days. And in my stomach, I just felt like my stomach muscle tightened. It's like it got very deep and loud. And it was like, no justice, no peace. And it was like resonating. I was like, oh shit, where'd that come from?
Like this
I did not have a voice.
It is definitely.
Lily, didn't you say to be somewhere?
Yeah, no, I have to take my mom to her appointment, so I was about to peace out. That's
Okay.
why I was going to say hi.
Cool.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh,
I would
listen,
love to come
please.
back and do this again.
We're gonna say this
You
again.
guys are welcome anytime.
Tim Joyner, Lily Nicole on Facebook.
Lily Nicole on Facebook, African Saxon on Twitter and Instagram. I know it's weird, but you know, African American Anglo-Saxon is literally.
Why would it be
me.
weird? It's not weird.
Every
to
time
claim-
people ask me, they're
it's
like,
not
"Oh,
weird.
well, it's not mean," and I was like, "What the fuck does your name mean?"
But honestly, you don't even have to wait for social media. If you ask,
I love
you
you
can
guys.
find
Bring your
us.
ass down to
Please,
3rd Street. I'll
please,
be there at
please,
like
please.
12:30 today till 9.
And then I'm gonna be down there from tonight from 5 to 9, and
Bye, Lily.
it's so many of these things going on tonight. I'll see you tonight. So many of them going on tonight that we have like.
Lily, if you need still water, they're right around the corner.
I'm okay. I got one in the truck.
There's a lot.
Oh wait, Tom will be there for the next 2 weeks.
We'll be there. We're gonna be there until something changes. As I was saying, this is organized by the youth. This was not organized by us. So therefore, the youth have put this together. So there are different youth groups that have come to us and they say we're having this. The only thing that we have honestly done, I can say, Lily has secured a permit, made sure that they have a place to do it, a venue, and I just make sure that there is peacekeeping, that there is actually a somewhat order. I try not to make it too orderly because it's organic. You want to keep this organic. We don't want to make this something Protest Inc.
Dude, it's been bothering me all morning.
We don't want to protest. Y'all may not have saw that. I just smacked the mic trying to hit a gnat out of the
Yeah, there's this one little gnat that's been chasing me all morning long.
It's bothering me over here. And
I've tried to Mr. Miyagi it.
I've been over here like slow, like trying to fight it, and it looks crazy. And then I just smack the mic, and I'm like, I look dead at Jamie, like,
Oh.
I'm so sorry. 'Cause
No, dude, it's on a pivot. It can handle it. I promise you.
Man, but this is completely organic. This is something that, again, Lily, myself, Josh, shout out to Keelan, everyone else that have been consistently helping. We came together. We didn't say, let's do this. We just said, do you need help?
Yeah.
It would be one day somebody would be doing something, another person would come up, do you need help? I'm so jumpy. These things have
Why
got
are
me
you
so
jumpy,
jumpy.
dude?
Honestly, these things have got me jumpy because you have to be. In doing this, my body is going to high alert because I've been there for so many days.
Okay.
From the beginning, from the sour to the sweet.
Sure.
So, in not just worrying about myself, but everyone around me.
Okay.
When people are there,
So you're hyper aware.
Hyper aware, and when I'm there, I feel like everyone is.
You need to clock that down. No, the thing is, so even in war, you're going to be hyper aware during that time when you come to battle. But when you come off that battlefield, you have to turn it off.
Oh yeah,
because you can't be dialed to 11 the whole time.
But it's turning off. Don't worry. I'm like, I just woke up, so this is one of those.
This is a safe place, dude.
Now I'm like, and then I wake up, and the first thing I want to do is always say, what are the first step we need to do? Because again, the kids are up earlier than I am, so they're messaging and they're making sure, hey, just want to see, because they feel like they have to have a leader, and when in actuality, you can do it on your own.
You can.
You can do it yourself. I understand you need a point person, but again, Lily and myself are not point people. We are just there, and this is the beautiful thing.
What makes a point person a point person?
Ah, the philosophical point.
I mean, it's the truth. So I never wanted a podcast. I never wanted to be a business owner. I always wanted to be an employee. I always wanted to do this other stuff, but for whatever reason, things fell into place for me that put me in a position to do that. This is your time. If sometimes things are just meant to be, you can't fight it. It's meant to be. And you've kind of worked your way into this position. You've been doing in front of the stages for this long. People know you. Use your platform. Don't be afraid of it.
Oh, nah. I think I'm just so, honestly, with a lot of us, I know myself, Lily, we don't want to always be in front because a lot of times we do get put in front. And a lot of times we have been doing this.
You're put in front because you can handle it.
And we're put in front because we can handle it. But sometimes we don't want it to come off disingenuous or inorganic. And at least for me. And I know that that's just a personal gripe. But I don't mind being an accessible face. I enjoy and I love that people are finding their voice and they're saying, you're helping me find my voice.
Sure.
I'm enjoying that they're saying, I saw you out there. I've been seeing you out there. I respect what you're doing. Thank you. I'm coming out there. I'm getting messages from people who've never been involved are now activated and saying, hey, you going out there tonight? People that honestly can't comment in public will message me and saying, I'm watching you. I'm enjoying this. And by enjoying mean I'm supporting you.
Sure.
I'm supporting seeing you doing this.
Tim, did you ever spend any time in the military?
No.
Okay, I did. So in the Marine Corps, we always say leaders lead from the front. Okay, there's a lot of people who say they're leaders. Don't worry, the camera's on me right now.
I'm looking right at him. I'm like in his eyes, like I see.
So there's a lot of people who say they're leaders, but they don't lead. They want the position of power, but they don't want the responsibility and they don't want to put the work to go with it. I'm not going to shout any names, but everybody's watching. So being that you don't want the power, but you are that person naturally because you are in the lead. It's your destiny, dude. And now it's back on you.
Crazy that that's my destiny coming in. I'm not even a Wilmington local. I moved here.
Either am I. I'm an import too.
And like, I now think of this as, this is our town. This is what we had to do, Wilmington. This is what
everyone's adopted you,
we
man.
had to do. And yeah, I've been living here so long, and I just now go along with it. People assume I go to school here and everything. Yeah. Like, what school did you go to? I was here in Hoggard. I didn't go to Hoggard, but I went to J.H. Rose in Greenville. But I'm just glad that Wilmington is at a point where they trust who they trust in order to give them a voice. And I'm not going to do too much rambling on and whatnot because I do want to save a little bit of my voice.
I tell you what. So how can people help you? How can we get more of the word out for you? Is there any other stuff that you guys need? And we'll put this in here. And then I know you got to get right to your next event.
Encouragement. How can people help? Really, we can't stress it enough. Come out with an open ear, open mind. Come out with a clear voice. Come out with throat cough drops, water. But come out there and just come out. Like 50% of the battle is showing up. Honestly, that's the biggest point. And as we keep going along, there's probably going to be things we need. But as this is still so open and organic, we don't need so much. We really just need the voices.
So if you guys ever need to come back on here, just let me know. So my mornings are always free. So I never do anything before 12 o'clock.
Mornings are always great.
Yeah. So if you guys ever need to come in here, use the platform, we'll plug you in. I don't care. The only the only mornings it's dicey is Thursday mornings. But this
worked out.
It worked out this way because I got to do some other shows for some Los Angeles client. But other than that, yeah, you guys are family, dude.
And also, please, everyone, one of the biggest ways you can help. I know this is going to seem a little juvenile. Defend us online. Defend us online, because the narrative that is being painted here is the one being transmitted out to the country. Yeah. It's the one being transmitted out to the world. Please make sure that everything that you see is right and correct. Anything that you see that seems slanderous or anything, please approach us, let us know. Because, again, we have exhausted ourselves making sure that this has gone from an organizational meeting that everyone kind of gave up on Sunday to just being a viable, open forum that now has got people's attention. Please just use your time. One of the biggest ways is the revolution will not be televised, but it will be Facebooked. It will be Instagram.
But Facebook is the new telephone or TV.
It's the new, and they're not going to show everything. And I'm not saying that there's a negative or a positive spin. I'm just saying, please just
But there could be.
There could. And you always have to be vigilant that there always is.
Yep.
And so that's why we try to document everything. We try to record every day.
Yeah.
We always try to put up videos that y'all can see what we're doing. We are not trying to get one over on anybody or anything. Please just make sure that protect us.
So how long term do you think this is going to actually have to happen before anything really changes?
Man, the craziest thing was I didn't even know this was going to go past Sunday, Monday.
Because I was thinking about this morning before you guys got here. I'm thinking a solid 6 weeks.
I'm seeing that it's going to have to
before anybody takes it serious on a national level.
Well, I think that nationally, each state is having their own protests.
Yeah.
So shout out to the U.S. and abroad, because there are protests everywhere. In Wilmington, how long will it take? It shouldn't take long, because the police department is so close to us. The sheriff's department is so close to us. We don't. If they are as close as they say they are, this should be some form of compromise.
Yeah.
Because there's only so long you can keep holding on, doing the same thing before you have to go to the next course of action. So we want to make sure that before we have to even think about the next course of action, there's already transparency and some accountability. And it would make me happy, just an everyday progress report in public. Like, hey, I'm coming down here on behalf of the New Hanover County Sheriff's Department. This is what we've done today to decrease the amount of excessive force needed. This is what we've done today to decrease arrest in a certain area. This is what we've done. I would love something just simple as that. That could actually go a lot further than most people think, because we don't get that every day. We only get it when something bad happens. We get to hear from the attorney, district attorney, everything of that nature. We want to be able to hear from them.
And just make sure there's no new questions
on a day-by-day basis. And just something like that could start some change.
Yeah.
We're not asking for something that needs to be like, okay, we got to shut the town down for a whole nother month. This is something that can be going on.
Accountability is a great start.
The transparency and accountability.
Because it doesn't cost a thing.
It really doesn't. My dad said, I always say, one of the things he told me is the definition of a man. It is not what you do, masculinity, everything. It's just someone who takes accountability for his actions.
Yep.
And that's the only thing I've lived by. You have to take accountability, regardless of what action it was, good or bad. Just own up to it and be transparent about it. And you'll get a lot further in this world.
Yep.
And that extends to positions of power.
Yeah.
And that's all that we're trying to say. Even down to our local leaders. Local leaders, we have to be better. We got to be more transparent. We have to be more connected to the youth. And by more connected, I know that we say we're connected just because we are around them. No, we have to be connected to the point where they feel like they can come to us and say, hey, you're the person I was looking for, instead of you're the person that just happens to be around and you're an older person.
Yeah.
Like, we need to have that bridge, more transparency. What are we doing for the youth? Giving them better forums to see what we're doing. Everybody is not on our Facebooks. Everyone is not on the same timeline, so we have to make it accessible. Wilmington as a whole, We have to make it so working people are able to be a part of anything that we do, and they get the same information that everyone else does.
So have you guys made a website so you can tie all those things together?
There's websites, there's sites.
No, your own. So you can
own.
so you can tie everything together. I mean, you can do a Wix site. It's absolutely free.
Yeah. I know that as this goes along, it's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to really right now keep it that the students are organizing.
Sure.
Every day the students are organizing. So we're leaving it at letting them organize as this goes along. There's going to have to be.
I can't help it, dude. I'm a nerd.
There's going to have to be some kind of, like structure and organization. But again, it just doesn't want to get bogged down with a lot of yellow tape. And
I get it.
I really want to avoid the pitfalls that happen when you start getting involved with meetings and
Sure.
leaders. And that's not a slight on anything. But again, the youth should be leaders.
Like they saw in Star Wars, call it committee. Yep.
The delegation.
Han Solo don't have the
committee,
time for it.
Really, it's just not. I don't know. And it's always been one of my biggest things in Wilmington. It's just working and making sure that anything I do, if we're really getting too far away from the action, I'll pull back.
Yeah.
It's not been a good thing every time I've done that, but honestly, I can say that I feel if we're not close to the action as I want to be and we're more talkative, then I'm probably going to pull back.
Sure.
Thankfully, I'm not pulling back from this. This is day. It feels like 100.
This is like day 6, isn't it?
Day 5, 6. Yesterday was out there all day. It was hot, and it's still hot, and it's going to be hot tonight. Please come out. We're going to be out all week. Next week, tonight, I know that there's specifically a high school group that is organizing, whatever you want to say it. Everyone's going to be out there. I will be out there. Lily will be out there. We are, as usual, going to be out there tomorrow. They're doing one from 1 to 3 at the courthouse, and then again from 5 to 9. So I have a feeling that every day is going to have the same kind of schedule where you're going to have a day and you're going to have a night.
Yeah.
And I think that honestly, in order to get as many of Wilmington as we can, we have to do that.
No, it makes sense. Perfect sense.
You know, working shifts, going shifts, and people can come when they can come.
And that way you don't get burnt out.
Honestly, and
it takes a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of energy, but there's nothing more. Honestly, there's just nothing more rewarding when you're getting there and people are just. When we're out there and the cars are honking as they're riding by. Yeah. When we're marching and they stop and the cars are honking, everybody's out throwing their fist up. There's signs out their car. People sitting downtown at tables are throwing their fists up. That's honestly, aside from anything negative that can be said or anything draining, it's always positive to see the support that you do get. Yeah. You know, a lot of people say we are disruptive. Yes, we are disruptive because our lives are always being interrupted. Yeah. And at the same accord, all we're doing is walking. All we're doing is talking.
Yeah.
The least you can do is just show some solidarity.
Sure. Just
put your hands up, throw your fist up. Just give us a head nod. Don't just record us. Don't just record us. A lot of the times you gotta be iffy with the recording. It's like I don't know. I get iffy with recording. I don't know if you're putting it up for certain things.
Sure.
Don't just record us. Join us. Yeah. But I can't stress it enough. Please, this is being called the across the nation the Black Spring. They have it anytime that any movement springs up. You know, they had the youth spring, they had the punk spring, everything. Being that they are now calling this that this is now the time I suppose that you can be a part of history.
Okay.
It's 2020. This is 2020. This has been the year of surprises for all of us. Mm-hmm. We just came from a pandemic, and now we're
still in it,
and we're addressing another pandemic at the same time.
Yeah, just social,
and it starts to. We can get into how it starts to affect you physically and mentally and everything, but all of this is interrelated. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we hear is we want to adhere to proper social distancing guidelines and whatnot. We do encourage people to have their masks. We encourage people to social distance. And we do understand that most of the communities that are out protesting are the highest affected by COVID, the coronavirus. We do make sure that we try to tell everyone, please keep safe, because we want to keep all of our elderly, our young, our immune system, compromised immune, all of those, we want to keep those kind of healthy and be able to keep them able to come out, because the more people we're able to have come out, the louder our voice. We have to protect all of our vulnerable populations, all of them.
Well, we're breaking into some other stuff now. So remember that show I told you I used to work for? So Nico's in here, Richard's in here. Those are the two main guys that get actually the ball rolling on stuff. Talia's in here, so she's one of that LA show I was telling you about. Tiffany Jones is in here saying all the good stuff about you. You know Tiff, right?
I think I do. Maybe I do. If I don't,
She does voiceovers. Jonesy Sweet.
No.
Oh no, Tiffany, he needs to know you. But anyways,
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all.
come to the protest.
It's been so many names and whatnot. It's been so.
You'll know her
hard.
when you see her.
And then everybody has masks on, so I'm seeing eyes. And
Oh,
I'm
like
seeing,
little ninjas.
I'm seeing the smiles in the eyes, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't put it with the person. So I'm so sorry. Again, it's nothing personal if I've met you and if I've said hello.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I feel bad.
Oh no.
I feel horrible. I feel horrible.
And on that note, I'll let you be then.
But
So, hey, Tim,
I do have to.
I know you gotta fly. Tim, it's been a pleasure.
It's been great. Please remember again, y'all come out. We are out here all day, honestly, and you're able to stay as long as you want to. You're able to come. There's no set schedule.
Yep.
We're not gonna check you in. You come in, you go as you please. Just come in, be ready to love, be ready to take care of each other, and please be aware. That's
Okay.
all we can ask.
One question: do you guys have a PayPal or Vimeo set up for this, so people can drop off supplies and stuff? Or you just want them to drop physical stuff off to you guys?
For right now, let's keep it at physical, and I do believe that later we'll probably start
Okay. Where can they drop the supplies off at?
This is at 3rd Street, the courthouse.
Okay.
There is Lily will be there.
Sure.
There's a few people that are going to be out there periodically. You'll see a tent. That's where we have all of the water. We are watered.
Yeah.
We have a lot of water, a lot of Gatorade. But
Okay.
you'll see a wagon. It'll have snacks. It's just a area.
Yep.
It was
Think
a
craft
small
services,
area.
y'all. We need craft services.
Essentially, yeah. It went from being like a tent. Now we had Slice of Life there yesterday.
Okay.
They had pizzas on the side. We had food. It's just, I looked and it was a whole little
Yeah.
area. So I was like, okay, this is not my
Crafty, we need you.
Yeah, some tables. I don't know. Just if you come out there and you can identify a need, let us know, because a lot of times our mind is just moving,
Sure.
and we can't pay attention to a lot of things. Just if you come out there and you see a need and you can address it, please.
Solar powered swamp coolers.
That would be.
I don't know if there's such a thing, but we could probably make one.
I really wish we had some fans that we could blow, like some outside fans that can blow, that we won't have to use a building to necessarily.
Yeah.
Just something, because I'm worried. It's getting hot, but yeah.
No, I got the old thing stirring. Actually, that might not be that hard to do.
But,
All right, so I'll make a couple phone calls.
But again, honestly, if y'all are out and about, please, my name is Tim Joyner. If you see me, please say hello. Please let me know where you may have seen me, but just say hello and let me know. Just say hello, because a lot of times I don't get a chance to see people who I know or know me and may know of me, and I just like to know, because this is all about community, and I'm not one to not know the names of the people in the community. My parents are pastors, and they told me if you don't know the names they remember in your church, it could be a problem. So I try to keep that mindset wholeheartedly throughout.
All right, Tim, so I know you got bigger things to do. And other than that, guys, we love you, and we'll have another guest on tomorrow.
Peace and blessings.
Take care, y'all.
That was fun. My voice sounds a lot better. I thought I was going to sound like shit.
Man, get off of here.